Okay.
For some crazy reason. How the heaven are you? And then
Just
the
like
man.
the boats. Good morning.
Terry.
I think they've been planning this for another one of his gaffes in the history of the.
Well, if you don't like your weight, just
Please.
Oh goodness.
That was depressing.
Oh me. So how are you doing today, Terry?
Buddy, I am finer than frog's hair split 3 ways with a broad. Now, if I was doing any better, it'd have to be 3 people. I'm big enough for 2 now, but you know, I have lost a little weight. But anyway, I'm going to be over at Cabela's starting Monday night.
He follows him around and does that.
Oh. Yeah, and I've got two stuffed reindeer on either side of me there. I'm not sure how I'm going to explain that yet. That they're stuffed.
Yeah.
Well, just say that they're the helper. They're the helper reindeer.
Well, no, actually, Kristen, my daughter-in-law, David's wife, suggested that I say that they're kind of in suspended animation until Christmas gets here.
They're in hibernation, I guess, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hibernation. David, did you get that background downloaded?
I did.
Okay. Then go down there to the right where it's got stop video.
Yeah.
Click on that, and then, folks, this is live TV here. And then go up and click on the little plus sign. And then click it up. Don't click that you got a green. But anyway. Hey, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Who's our sponsor for today?
Play their ad. Our sponsor is Superior Heating and Air.
Our house has never been this comfortable.
They're actually early. We've never had any service like this before.
Our utility bills have never been as low.
Hey, this is Joe, the owner of Superior Heating and Air System. Give us a call today at 256-837-2525 if you would like the same results for your home. And remember, at Superior Heating and Air, we'll keep the air on for you.
And we want Lim with us to bring you this podcast, and well, hopefully after we figure out the election results, YouTube won't cancel us, Facebook won't cancel us, and we can continue to do this broadcast.
Well, I'm not really real confident about that at this point. David, you're looking good there, son. Unmute.
Oh, I am muted.
Yeah. Are ready to harass. What am I going to do to this? Honestly. David, tell us about, you were telling me about the what China does, their social
the social credit here in the U.S. where you literally, it's like, have you guys ever heard of those the food review plate Yelp? It's like Yelp online, and people can give reviews on individual people. They tried this a few years ago with an app, and talking about implementing it. You better love Big Daddy Xi Jinping. You better love him to the best of your ability, or no rice for you this week. And it's really a terminology. I'm probably sure most of you are, but if you've not read 1984 Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, that's pretty much the 2 books the Democrats have put together for their playbook. That's a great show.
One of the, I think it was either season 2, maybe season 3, walking around to society, and, around here on Earth, we will play around and take pictures of statues and stuff like that. Well, that's what happened in this episode. But there was one thing. Everybody could vote on whether or not what you did was offensive or not. And if you had too many points against you, we're not that far from it at this point, talking about what you're talking about, David.
I fully believe this, and I do intentionally use the word leftist, of these leftists that would very much like to reenact Hitler's Night of the Long Knives, except when Hitler was coming to power, he had a lot of people he needed to get rid of. I'm going to give you very much the Cliff Notes version, which it was like his version of the Gestapo, that they would later be referred to as. They went around and killed, I think it was 28 or maybe even more people, all in one night. Just political dissidents, that the only people who stood a chance against, who had any kind of public influence against Hitler. And I believe that would love to implement that.
Oh, I agree, buddy. I really do. And it's coming. Believe me, there's a website up there already. I've mentioned it a time or two already, but you should be aware of it. That if you have donated to the Trump campaign,
they have all your information.
Since 2006 website that is readily accessible to everybody. It's not something that's hidden. You don't have to have a special pass to get into it, it's just there. And trust me, it's with the Biden campaign, because they don't want that. They don't want you to know where the Biden campaign folks are. But it is, it's there now. All right, there's, I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. In the event that the media declares Joe Biden the winner of the election as the 46th president of the United States, illegally cast ballots. Now, the really, 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 really bad part about this is, in my opinion, is that if there ever is a moment in time where they go, okay, Joe Biden is our president, unrolling that is going to be extremely difficult. What do y'all think?
Absolutely. I mean, it just stands to reason that everybody's going to start secretary and Pocahontas as your Treasury Secretary.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, guys. This is. I'll be frank with you. This is testing my faith. I know that God's in control. God's on the throne. Nothing surprises. So I know that He is in control of this. But Lord, don't let us have Biden.
Well, God, whenever the Israelites were in captivity, they, the truth is, even though they were in a state of rebellion against God, and He was punishing them, they really never left His hand.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's where I keep faith, and I take heart in knowing that God never says, "Uh-oh." So the things that you do, I mean, that's one thing I struggled with in my faith for a long time, was blaming God for things that isn't His fault, and just hold on, I got to be God. And I'm like, but God, I want to do it sometimes, But
yeah, I understand that. Well, guys, the boats For example, in both Michigan and Wisconsin, several boat dumps occurred at approximately 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Well, no, it's not completely impossible. The odds of this occurring are 1 in 52,900,000. There is a chance. But that's the odds on it. Some claim.
Uh-oh. Folks, we're having some technical difficulties right now, but hang in there with us. Be back in just a few minutes. on the podcast. Hey, Rod.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, we're back up. So if you'll just talk a little bit till I can get.
Well, okay, I will do that. The election and literally was put here in the presidency. I believe God removed hindrances to allow him to be put there. I'll say it like that. That said, God has shown, I believe that without a shadow of a doubt. And I do believe that it is God's will for President Trump to be there. Now, that's citizens of the country that have never probably ever prayed before. If they're not, they probably ought to be. Now, I believe that God has allowed things to get discombobulated the way they have. Part of it, he's trying to bring us back. Paul said to pray without ceasing. That means you pray. You're driving down the road, you be brushing your teeth, and you're like, hey, Lord, whatever you're doing, you're in an attitude of prayer. Okay? And I think God, first of all, that he's trying to get us to that place. And,
Amen.
you know, if we ever do that, and I don't think it's not going to take every single person in this country. It's just going to take basically a remnant, if you will. I mean, you look, from what I'm told, back in the colonial days, there were like only a third of the colonists who believed that this country could survive. The other 2/3 were ready to sell out and go back to Britain, or let Britain just come over and take them over and just treat them however. 1/3. And I don't have any doubt that we've got at least 1/3 of this country his ways. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am on that. I believe honestly we've got at least that many people who right now are seeking to face very little that we can do.
Starting a new party, but
Amen.
it would just take the place of the Republican Party, and that party would be based on pardon me, Christian conservatism back in the 80s and 90s. It's gotten away from that.
Yeah. Yeah,
What do you
it
think?
has.
What do you think, Terry?
No doubt.
Well, I think starting correctly, but I, you know, the Republicans for the most part are spineless, gutless wizards.
Yep.
They truly are. I mean, it's really sad. And you know, you and I, Brian, have been talking about it for a long time. About, you know, there were rhinos, as they call them, Republicans in name only, that just are people like John McCain. You know, there was lots of them out there.
Orion.
Romney.
And you know, they're they just go along to get along. You know, again, I keep going back to what one of my relatives who was in politics said. He said, get reelected. That's their total focus in life, is to get reelected. And realize is what the Democrats are doing right now is they're trying to make it a permanent ever win an office, at least a major national office again, and they're close.
Well, and the thing is, Terry, if you look at what votes are coming in, now things may have changed since the last time I saw the news, which was yesterday afternoon. I mean, eventually you just get sick of it and heartbroken for this country, and you can't watch it anymore. Was no longer the majority that it was. We're getting down to there's just a handful. So the thing is, we can stop senators and House members that will stand up with a backbone and stop what's going on. Now, from what I'm hearing, Pelosi's in trouble. The Democrats are real mad at her because she managed to take a blue wave and it just dissipated. So it's possible that she's not going to be the House Speaker anymore.
I just hope they don't put somebody worse than her, like AOC.
Well, there's can't remember his name right now, but there's a black guy that they're.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah. I don't remember the guy's name now, but he is black, and that's one of the things they want is a
social justice.
First black, House Speaker.
Actually, that would not be correct, because we already had a Speaker of the House that was black. It was whenever we were working under the Articles of Confederation.
Yeah, I'm not sure that counts.
They won't include him because he didn't have a D after his name.
That's right.
And as the possibly incumbent president once said, if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. Hey,
let me ask. Can I ask a question? Did any of you see that video yesterday of the guy who said that now he could speak in public and he had been held to secrecy, but he went into it and explained that the ballots. What I got from it is all the ballots that were cast, other than these extras that they seem to be coming up with.
I have, and that's if that's true. If they are watermarked, we've got a leg to stand on as far as all these false ballots. Now, I've been listening to a lot of Georgia. There was this big construction dumpster area there that they had cordoned off with police tape. And supposedly there were many, many thousands of ballots in that dumpster that were primarily military ballots that were in the dumpster. And there's just so many examples now of people. There's
Well, there are even Democrats poll watchers, workers that are coming out and saying
on TikTok that got taken down because of it violated community standards.
Terry.
But it was a video of this lady in Pennsylvania, Delaware, bringing over, stamp it as though it had been received, and then she got out her little pen and started marking the ballot. Just one.
Well, I've also heard reports about there being 100,000 or more votes come in, and more than registered voters in those counties. People have been trying to, well, let me rephrase that. Fact checkers are saying that there might have been people that were dead that were still on the voting rolls, but there's no proof that they voted. Well, there's no proof that they didn't vote because you can't get in there to watch the election. That's why poll watchers are so important. That's why a couple of weeks ago I said that if you have never done it, you need to be a poll watcher at least once to understand how the process goes.
I was listening to Rush Limbaugh yesterday for a time, and there was a lady that called in on Rush, and she was saying, and I believe this was North Carolina voting, and when they got in there, the lady told her husband, well, you can't vote again, you've already voted.
Yeah, I heard that too.
There are thousands upon thousands of these reports that are coming to light of these people that are going to vote, and they say they've already voted.
Yeah.
And and would now be 118 years old were he alive.
1884.
No, it was 19. No.
18. Come on. Math, Terry. I know you're from Tennessee, but
wait a minute. What?
Does 14.
What? Anyway, seriously.
Oh, by the way, the wife is getting on to me.
Also, I think you need to dye your dog orange.
No.
That'd be odd.
No, there's.
Don't even get me started on that.
Anyway, but seriously, for a plethora of, he was saying, he said, listen, he said, this has been going on. Richard Daley, the former mayor of Chicago, famously said, and I've quoted this before, he said, I don't care who votes, I don't care how many times they vote, I don't care when they vote. He said the only thing that matters about an election is who counts the vote.
Yep.
And that's kind of been added, I think, to Saul Alinsky's rules of disorder.
And Terry, you would remember this. Do you think we're going to have another Battle of Athens? This took place right after World War II in the bustling metropolis of Athens, Tennessee. The veterans that came home, they did not like them. And basically the veterans that came back did not and had a slate of candidates to run against the local officials. Well, all the ballots were taken, and even some, I think some of the polling places were closed early. Voting was going to go. So they collected all the ballots, put them in the jail, and kept them under lock and key, and they were going to count them all, and no one was in there to went and got their stockpile. And they went to the county jail, and they busted out the ballots. And I think it was a clean slate of winners.
Yeah, I think it was.
I hope that we don't get to that point.
I hope not to, brother.
But that was the same. That's the same reason why the Revolutionary War was fought. You know, not, and the government just bullying everybody into doing what they wanted done.
Well, there's history repeats itself, and most of them can't even spell history, much less know what it is. And there's an old adage, I guess. It goes, good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create. Well, we've been at probably 30, 40 weak men create hard times. And fortunately, one thing that, if history is anything to learn from, Americans are really good at transitioning from the period of weak men create hard times to hard times create strong men. And then strong men create good times. So that encourages me, I guess. It's just a matter of, how is this going to go down? Like, why is, and a part of me wishes it wasn't going down during my time being here. Why can't me and my wife have a good time? When you three dinosaurs were teenagers, you could have one person working one job and pay for two kids, a house, and a car. And now you've got it with my generation. If you have the mother and the father working, you make just enough money to be broke. So it's incredibly frustrating, at least from my.
Make the statement that we're talking about socialism, and they stated that socialism, you vote your way into it, but you have to shoot your way out.
Yep. Truth.
Are we at that point? I don't know. I'm not going to say. I will say this: we're going to see a revolution, I believe, of some sort. We may even see the birth of a new nation. I'm not sold out to the fact that Trump is not going to be successful here when it's all finally comes out in the wash. Something is going to take place that is going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that, he may not win it in a landslide, but would be close if the truth could be known. And I believe the truth is going to be borne out. It may take a few more days, but I do believe we're going to see it.
The thing that bothers me is we have such a divide in this country right now. I don't see how we can have two separate nations, and that's what it is. We're two separate nations right now. We're too far apart. We can't even talk to each other without, threat of violence or something like that. I don't see how we're going to be able to keep this union together when we've got people that are so far apart from each other.
Brian, let me disagree with you there a little bit. I don't think there's that much division in this country. I think it's been ginned up by the media, and I think most people are pretty much on the same page for the most part. Now again, they don't agree on everything. I don't agree on everything with you guys. We all have small things that
we're individuals.
We are. So, but I think that most people are not in the radical mode that AOC and her ilk is. I think they are, for the most part, good people. Now, again, you've got these snowflakes that are coming out and doing the protesting. I don't think there's anywhere close to being 60 million people that have voted for Joe Biden. I just don't. I think it's probably, in truth be known, I think it's probably closer to 30. I think there's that much fraud that's going on.
But when you have Democrats in bed with literally you got every social media platform, Twitter, you got Jack Dorsey at Twitter, who is an extreme leftist. You got the Zuckerberg at Facebook, who is an extreme leftist. you've got all these social media platforms, and was it and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember if it was Gobbles or whoever that said, if you say a lie long enough, loud enough, people will believe it.
Yes.
And it's very much happening right before our eyes. And no one, and I mean no one, is calling out the Democrats. Everybody's sitting back. They're giving them a free pass. These senators, these Republican senators, every single one, with the exception of like two, there was Dan Crenshaw, and was it Trey Gowdy, or is Trey Gowdy in the House?
Trey Gowdy's in the House.
Yeah.
Well, he's not in Congress at all now.
Yeah.
Now.
No, he's out.
With the exception of those two guys, every single one of those Republicans need to be let out, and they need to be whipped, and they need to be publicly shamed and then done away with.
But what most likely has happened, they have been compromised.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Just like I'm told, Epstein had people, he'd invite them to his island, these well-known, influential people. And he'd say, come to my island and visit sometime. They get down there, and the first time one of them gets close to a teenage girl, he'd have somebody snap their picture. And then he would, after they get back home, he'd send them a message, say, if you want to send me a couple of million or $3 or $4 million here, I won't show these pictures to people. That's what has happened to most of the Republicans.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe it.
That's
Brian,
why they're submitting.
Do what now?
I was going to say, Brian, who's our sponsor today? It's right at the top of the hour. Why don't we...
1 second here.
Hi, Alf.
I
We've
was
never
going to
been
say
this
publicly
country.
again, we
They're actually
appreciate
early. We've never had any
Joey
service like
Ussery,
this before.
Our
Richard
utility bills
Ursula.
have never been this low.
Hey, this is Joey, the owner of Superior Heating and Air. These are the things our customers have to say when they turn to the experts at Superior Heating and Air to repair their systems at home or to replace their systems with a new Carrier heating and air system. Give us a call today at 256-837-2525 if you would like the same results for your home. And remember, at Superior Heating and Air, we'll keep the air on for you.
Yeah, we do want to thank Joey Ursher and his staff at Superior Heating and Air for their support of the Right Angle. And again, Joey took chance whenever we went out there, and I was trying to get things set up, and yeah, it's been a work in progress, but I think we're finally getting the podcast to a position where people can watch it, enjoy it, and we still have a little technical difficulties here and there, but that's life. You have problems and you move on. Terry, you want to when you want to give away the card today?
Well, that's what I was just thinking about. Folks, what we're doing is every week we are giving away a $25 gift card.
This
now,
is it?
The way that works is you have to be watching the show, and Brian will put up the number, and not only the card number, but the don't show it yet. Nope, don't show it yet. Put up the card number and the expiration date and the 3-digit code on the back, so you just be prepared to log in to somewhere and spend the $25, and that'll be yours. So you want to do that now, buddy?
Sure.
All right, grab a pen.
Well, there we go.
There you go. Again, the number is 4358-8007-3446-0275. That's the Visa debit card number. Expiration is 4 of 2028. The CVV is 561. The CVV is 561. So the first one to get to that is the winner. And let us know if you if you get to that, okay? If you claim that, let us know about it. Brian, are we where all are we streaming to this morning?
We are streaming to Facebook and YouTube. And while we had our technical difficulties, I left the flag up so everybody would know that we were still here. And we've got some people that are coming back. They've been coming back a little bit. So if you have any questions and you're watching a watch party on my page or Terry's page, Rod, I don't know if you've got it up on yours, but you can go to the Right Angle podcast, and if you see the logo that's behind Rod there, that's the logo that you'll see, and you can send us a question. We can answer questions to the best of our ability. We might just make stuff up too. Who knows? But if you have any comments, make sure you send it, and we'll address them on the air.
Yeah, I would encourage anybody out there listening, if you've got a question, to send it to us. I mean, I would love to tackle some kind of a question.
Yeah, won't you, Mr. Terry, won't you give out Rod's phone number there and have them all just call him with their questions?
BR549. That's Rod's number. BR549. Call that right now. Junior Samples is there waiting to, that was, of course, those of y'all who watch.
Yeah, I got to say, you're going to have to give a history lesson here now, Terry.
Yeah,
Lord
I know.
mercy.
Hee Haw that was Junior Samples' phone number on Hee Haw for his used car lot. And I had the distinct privilege of being able to sit around and watch a lot of those being recorded at Channel 5 in Nashville many, many years ago. And Junior was a wonderful fellow, but bless his heart, he was dumb as a box of rocks. And that's insulting rocks everywhere. I love Junior, but he couldn't read, and so all those mess ups that you saw on the show, those were real mess ups.
Those were real.
Yeah, they didn't have to record those. Those were Junior messing up. But his phone number on there was BR549. Of course, that's not a phone number. I'm old. I can't help it. I just go back to these things.
If you weren't old, you wouldn't be here.
That's true. That's true.
Just like me.
All right, Jason Chavis. I like Jason. Jason's one of the good guys, I think. But Jason came up with 7 things that are going to happen if Biden, that he predicts will happen if Biden claims victory and is our. Let's see. I just
don't say myself. It ain't gonna happen anyway, but
okay. I like the way you think. Anyway, the first thing he's talking about is Pelosi will get bounced as the House Majority Leader, the Speaker of the House, I should say. Now, who he's recommending, and that's who I couldn't think of a little while ago, is Representative Hakeem Jeffries. He's a Democrat from New York, says a 50-year-old New Yorker would be the first black Speaker of the House. He would placate the far left and come with unanimous backing of the Congressional Black Caucus. So, also, now this is something I would love to see, but he's also saying that there would be a huge investigation into Hunter Biden. That Trump would start that, and once he started it, he would know that Biden wouldn't be able to stop it. Now, I'm not sure I agree with that. What do y'all think?
I would agree with it. I've been thinking that quite a bit in the last few days. I think it's coming either way.
It will last until if Biden does win the election, the investigation will last until. Huh?
I said you had to say that, didn't you?
Well, we deal in truths. I mean, I hate it as much as anybody else, but any investigation would last until Biden was sworn in, and then, unlike what any of the attorney generals that Trump appointed, Biden would squash any investigation.
And any investigation that continued would just be kabuki theater. It wouldn't be a real investigation.
Here's the thing, and this is what ticks me off more than anything. Democrats have no problem wielding their power. Republicans always play it nice. We play the nice guy.
That's why we need to get rid of all those Republicans. I mean, every single one of them need to be marched out, whipped with a belt, sent home in shame.
But here's the problem. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say it again. I'll say it till the day I die. There is a different accountability placed on Republicans and Democrats. We've talked about how if a Republican, went and said something off color or whatever, they're done. Democrats can say it. It don't matter. Now, I don't know, and I know that there are Democrats that are my friends, and for the most part,
right.
Well, hey, I've got Auburn friends. I mean, geez.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, we live in this world together, and, we have to work together.
But who does your wife support in football?
She's a Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
But, hey, before I met her, I did my time in purgatory. I dated an Auburn fan, so I feel like I got, that out of the way so I can go straight to heaven. I've already done my time.
I tell my people in Tennessee that I'm a missionary in a foreign land down here.
Yeah. But my point is that Democrats seem to have an attitude of, I can do whatever I want to, and you can't do anything about it. We as Republicans or Christian conservatives, however you want to phrase it, we know that there's going to be an ultimate accounting for our actions.
Mr. Terry, what is it I always say about Democrats?
Can we say these things on the air?
Dang, it's good to be a Democrat. That's just the broadcast friendly version, but it is. You can literally say anything you want, and I'm not even being hyperbolic or ironic. You can say whatever you want as long as there's a capital D after your name.
Yep.
And you
that's pretty well true.
Pretty well do anything you want. Like take millions of dollars from the Chinese and millions of dollars from the Russians and millions of dollars from who all, we don't know. I think there's a whole lot of other people behind that too, with Hunter and Joseph and the brother, what's his name, Jim?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think there's a whole lot more money behind that there that we don't know about yet, and probably will never know about.
Oh yeah, the Chinese Communist Party is going to be the final boss of the world. I mean, other than Satan himself, if reality were a video game, the final boss would be China.
And what are Chinese doing to their Christians in China now?
Oh, they're prisoners of conscience. They're harvesting their organs.
That's it. That's what they're doing to Christians in China. So.
Well, the thing is, Terry, it's not just in China.
Coming here.
It's not just in China.
He's right. It's not just in China.
It's in India. It's in India.
But they're doing it. The largest scale is done in China, but it's not just in China. You're right.
And that's what really concerns me about this election. There are people that thought, we just got to get rid of Trump. What they didn't realize or don't realize is that there's a possibility that you won't be able to go to worship without being threatened.
Yeah, exactly.
We won't be able to sit here and have conversations like we're having. You won't be able to enjoy the freedoms that you've had because you won't have them anymore. It's true that our freedoms come from God. The problem is the government is supposed to protect those freedoms. And just look at my shirt.
I'm your Huckleberry. Yep.
I need to get one of those. That's one of my favorite sayings.
It is. It's going to be a situation, I'm afraid, where we're going to have to depend on ourselves to maintain our freedoms.
It's time to water that tree, boys.
I hope and pray that we don't. But I honestly think there's going to be a civil war. Mm-hmm. And it's going to start in the cities, and then it's going to eventually spill into small towns like I'm in.
My generation's going to have to clean up y'all's mess.
No, we didn't start this mess. This is all on you.
This is
a very recent thing.
But if you gentlemen will remember, whenever y'all were little, y'all were discouraged from getting involved in politics. Good Christian men didn't get involved with politics, when the very opposite of that is true. Good Christian men should be very involved in politics.
My mother says whenever I was real young, I was out passing campaign cards out for an official, so I've been doing it all my life. Yeah, that's whenever they put it out on stone tablets, so you know.
You're in the Flintstones, huh?
Yep.
Okay, Biden turns 78 on November 20th. 78 Biden will be, which makes him the oldest person to ever be inaugurated as president if, God forbid, he wins. Okay, President Reagan turned 78 a few days after his second term ended. So, again, if Biden is in there, I want you all to predict how long he'll be there before Kamala will boot him out.
When is inauguration?
January 20th.
January 21st.
Okay. What do you think, David?
What's the question? I've been listening, but I didn't hear a question.
How long before Biden is booted out?
If he gets
I guess it's however long it takes them to get him to take his Geritol and lay down for a nap. So, a couple days until Kamala Harris takes over, and who, by the way, is such a crazy leftist. She makes Bernie Sanders look like Tom Selleck. So, it's really bad. Kamala Harris is a very, I'll say fishy and like bad kind of fishy. She's done some very racially charged things in her past. She's claimed 2 different races on multiple occasions. I mean, this chick is magic. She can just pollywog to whatever race she needs to be in order to fit whatever narrative she needs to fit. So,
kind of like Pocahontas?
You mean Pocahontas?
Pocahontas.
Yeah,
She's a chameleon.
Pocahontas. F-A-U-X. Pocahontas. And Talcum X too. What's his name? The guy that helped start Black Lives Matter, and he's actually not even black, and everybody calls him Talcum X. I can't even remember his name. Anyway,
I like Talcum X.
Talcum X. It is good. It shows pictures of both of his parents. They're both very milquetoast Mr. Rogers White. And then all of a sudden, the last 3 years, his pictures, he's buzz cut on the side, and he wears some kind of weird Tom Holland's glasses, and then he's black. So
like Kamala Harris. She's not black.
No, neither was Obama.
Well, no, but Obama had 12.5%. He was 12.5% black. He was half white and 37.5% Arabic. He had 12.5% black. So yeah, there was a little bit of black, but Kamala, there's no black at all. But she's black.
I'm probably blacker than Kamala Harris is.
Probably, yeah.
Well, she's got Jamaican in her blood.
Jamaican me crazy.
Who was the girl a few years ago that was leading one of the NAACP organizations, and she was white, but was basically doing blackface?
Yes.
Rachel Dolezal.
Yes,
Rachel
there you go.
Yes. Milk toast white. I mean, golly. Again, it's good to be a Democrat, because if they were a Republican trying to paint themselves black and come off as black, oh Lord, there would be we would still have cities on fire.
Well, the thing is, guys, honestly, the thing I'm worried about as much as anything right now, including the presidential race, is what's going on with our Senate seats. Because, guys, we're sitting at 48-48 right now. And there's 2 seats in Georgia that are very, very, very much up for grabs, especially considering what's been happening with the vote totals in Georgia. Because Perdue and Loeffler both are in a runoff, which won't be decided, I think, till January 5th.
Correct.
So, if we lose the Senate, brother, we're going to have Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. as a state. There's going to be 5 states in California.
Cascadia. Cascadia.
Yeah, Cascadia.
Let's do it, baby. Let's not just. Oh yeah, let's take the brakes off this train, son. Let's put the pedal to the metal and let's fly toward that civil war at Mach 12. Let's do it. Let's hit that reset button going 3 times faster than the Enterprise's maximum warp speed. Let's do it.
Terry, have they ever called the Tuberville Jones race here in the state?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They did finally call it? Because I know it wasn't called the other day.
Yeah, it's been called.
I hope to God he's not just a rhino. I hope he's not just going to get up there and sit in his seat and do nothing.
Then you've got this senator in Alaska who's got a commanding lead, but they're saying that he's because in Alaska it's very difficult to get all the votes together because of the far-flung and lack of transportation there. So, but they say that's pretty much locked in as a Republican seat, which makes it 49-48, which again goes back to Georgia. I've been seeing a bunch of these guys from Texas and other places that are getting on TikTok and saying, Georgia, you ain't invited to Thanksgiving no more. Don't even bother showing up, Georgia. You guys have embarrassed all of us. Don't even come, Georgia. And then a couple of guys from Georgia that had a Georgia hat on took the hat off and went, I know, we can't come anymore. We're not going to come. Once one guy put on a Texas hat, he said, but I'm going to show up in Texas. So, I mean, even Georgians are embarrassed.
Isn't every county red but like 2 though?
No, there's several counties but they're all right around Atlanta that are basically the problem here.
My wife.
Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, right there around Atlanta.
My wife is from Oklahoma, and one of the guys on TikTok posted the electoral map of Oklahoma, and every county is deep red. And they said, well, boys, we did our part.
Well, we did our part here in Alabama, too.
Yeah.
So, but again, I'm very worried about Georgia right now with the two seats there. Biden, Chaffetz thinks that Biden's going to put a Republican in the cabinet, but who knows about that. But one thing that is good is Supreme Court Justice Alito has said that mail-in ballots received after Election Day in Pennsylvania must be kept separate. So if Alito and the guys in the Supreme Court will come on and start telling these folks, hey, there is law in this country. There's not just a Democrat way of doing things. So Alito, who actually was nominated by George W. Bush, he said the court had not been previously informed on state guidance handed down to counties on October 28th about what to do with ballots received between the 8 p.m. November 3rd deadline, and Friday, November 6th. So he said you got to set them aside. He said don't throw them away, but keep a separate count of them. Well, the folks in Pennsylvania said, okay, we'll keep a separate count, but we're not taking it out of the vote total.
Hey, just so you know, just FYI, there's Trump's holding a big press conference in 4 minutes. There's several streams going on. Fox is streaming it, and Now News, not familiar with them. They're also, so I just wanted to let you guys know that Trump's going to do a press conference here in just a minute.
How about monitoring that for us, David, if you would?
All right, I can do that.
Just mute your feed while you do it and see what's going on. And come back in if there's anything we need to know about.
Gotcha.
There was a report in Detroit. If you'll recall up there, the poll watchers were denied entry into the ballot counting place, and they were told by the courts that they had to allow the people within 6 feet of the ballots. Well, so they did. They let them in. They marked off 6 feet, told them they couldn't go past there, and then they moved the ballot boxes further away. You know,
Unbelievable.
when you've got people that don't want poll watchers around, chicanery is going to ensue.
Yes, it is. And it has, and has been for many, many years.
Yeah.
I don't believe we've had a legitimate election in this country in probably 40 years. I really don't. I think there's been so much chicanery, as you put it, going on that I really believe that we're past, and have been for a while, past the actual illegal election in this country.
Well, back in 19, I guess it might have been 92. It may have been earlier than that, but there was a problem that the Republicans and Democrats were having with each other as far as poll watchers go. At that point in time, the Republican Party realized that poll watchers were the best thing to have at every poll. Democrats did not do that. Now, the reason why the Democrats didn't do that was because they controlled most of the election officials. But so the Republican Party, in an agreement with the Democrats, defunded their poll watching apparatus, and it has not been the same. There's all kinds of chicanery going on that unless you've been in certain situations as a poll watcher, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I had a situation here where a guy that was very big in the NAACP, he owned a building. In that building was a daycare, which is fine. And then right outside the door of in the hallway where the daycare was, is where the polls were set up. 30 feet from the door is the closest you can get to campaigning during an actual election. People were going into the daycare center, walking out with sample ballots, and going and vote. Less than 10 feet away. And honestly, if it hadn't been for the fact that I knew what the law was and I knew who I needed to call, we wouldn't have got that thing shut down. But everybody needs to be involved in what's going on with our elections. This one's over with, and hopefully we'll have elections after this, where it's not like in Russia where there's only one party that you can vote for, and if you vote for someone else, well, you're never heard from again. But take an interest in what's going on in this country.
And if you know of voter fraud, you need to report it.
Yeah.
You know of any kind of voter fraud, you need to report it.
And in this area, it's normally the probate judge, the county clerk, and the sheriff that are responsible for handling the elections. But make sure if you are a Republican, you go talk to the Republican headquarters, and they'll file the official complaints.
Well, you know, Sunshine pointed out a while ago something that he's actually right about. Over the years, you know, especially I can remember in the 80s. I remember there was a gentleman who was a preacher who lived, a friend of mine who lived near here, who ran for state office and got elected. And I never in my life heard the likes of people talking about, well, a preacher doesn't have any business being in an office like that because all these decisions are made in the smoky bar rooms and this and that. And, you know, I thought, you know, one way he's right, but at the same time, because Christians haven't gotten involved, that's the reason those decisions were being made in those smoky bar rooms.
You're right.
And, you know, they just got there came a point where somehow we were, I won't say we were pushed out, I think we stepped out. And I say we, I'm talking collectively Christians. Just for whatever reason, they said that, well, you know, we're not of this world, we're not citizens of this country, of this world, and so therefore we really don't have any business being involved in the political process. Sad mistake.
I used to be in business, and I worked with a company which will remain nameless. But in this company, we'd have a lot of business meetings, and some of them were in this area, some of them were, you know, Texas, Canada, anyway. And I don't drink. And at these meetings, 99% of the time, there's a lot of drinking going on. Well, they tried to shame me because I was sitting there with my water or tea, and they tried to shame me into not attending those meetings by doing things like, okay, let's make a toast. Here, Terry, you stick your water up there, son. You know, and they would make repeated toasts with me with my water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was an intimidation thing. I really do. I think that was something he intended to embarrass me, and it did kind of embarrass me. But it didn't make me pick up a wine or you know, strong drink. And if you drink, that's a whole nother deal. I'm not trying to put anybody down that drinks. I've got several alcoholics in my family, and I don't agree with drinking. So, anyway. But, again, I think that this country is going to change drastically from this point forward. Even if Trump is still our president, I think we've crossed some lines here, and I think we've got into a new paradigm. I really do.
Just an update. Apparently they're running just a little bit behind. Trump hasn't gotten up on stage yet, but they are. I don't know if y'all can. I guess my camera's kind of freaking out. It's not letting y'all see it, but they're. They have the podium and everything, and the cameras are all, but he just hasn't stepped out yet. I just wanted to fill y'all in.
Okay, thank you, bud. Appreciate it. But anyway, and there's of course recounts. We've got several states that are going to be recounted, and nobody can be certified until those recounts are done successfully. So, who's going to do the recounts? That's my question. Fine and dandy if you got a recount. Who's going to do the recount? Probably the same people that did the original count. And secondly, are we going to have Republicans and Democrats observing the recount procedure? Otherwise, what's going to change?
That's where the court battles are going to be coming into play. Trump's already said he's going to go to the Supreme Court, but you've got to have something worthwhile to talked to him about, and you can't say in all 50 states or 5 states. You've got to limit it to 2 or 3 states.
Why?
And
Why do you have to?
because they're not going to hear it.
Why?
Because it would take 2 years to get that done.
If it takes 2 years, it takes 2 years.
Okay, you know who's president at that point?
Do what?
Do you know who's president at that point?
I do.
Now, it could be that she might not be the president if she loses control. If Pelosi is not elected Speaker.
Which I think is a distinct possibility at this point. Really?
We can only hope on that one. We can hope and pray that
I
she's
hate
not.
to bring this on, but the AP is now saying that Biden has defeated Trump to become the 46th president of the United States. Now, again, I understand there may be some that could be accurate and it could not be, but that's what they're declaring.
Yeah.
Well, y'all talk a minute there. Let me see if I can verify that.
Well, while we've got a little time here, let's thank Joey and his fine staff at Superior Heating and Air for sponsoring the broadcast. And again, if you have any problems with your heating and air conditioning, give Joey a call.
Our house has never been this comfortable.
They're actually early. We've never had any service like this before.
Our utility bills have never been this low.
Hey, this is Joey, the owner of Superior Heating and Air. These are the things our customers have to say when they've turned to the experts at Superior Heating and Air to repair their systems at home or to replace their systems with a new Carrier heating and air system. Give us a call today at 256-837-2525 if you would like the same results for your home. And remember, at Superior Heating and Air, we'll keep the air on for you.
And again, we do want to thank Joey, and we are in that period of time where we're going to have the heating and air conditioning going on both times of the day. So give him a call and schedule a maintenance appointment just to make sure that your heating is up to snuff, so you don't get cold on those cold winter nights.
Okay, I'm looking at Fox News Live right now. They've not called it, showing that Trump is ahead by 54,000 votes in Alaska. Oh, dang it, they just changed it. They're doing an alert. Fox News projects Biden wins Pennsylvania and Nevada as electoral. Okay, Fox News has called the presidency for Biden also.
But remember, 4 years ago they had called it for Hillary, so
They did. You see how that worked out.
Well,
But I suspect they were going to do this because they know that if they can go ahead and do that, they think that it's going to clear the
Yeah,
way
just
to
mentioned
go
it.
ahead and do some other things. But it's not over. I promise you guys, it's not over. They don't know who they're dealing with, I don't think. And there's, I believe, a reason behind why this is happening.
there is, and that's the thing about it, and that's the way we opened the show, what I did, was saying that this is seriously testing my faith. I know God's on the throne, I know God's in control, but dadgum, God, like Jerry Clower said, you got to shoot up in here amongst us. One of us has got to have some relief. So, this, and if Biden actually gets this and starts acting like the president, and the media, the national media, starts proclaiming him president, it's going to be very difficult to walk that back.
Again, it depends on what happens in the courts.
And in the Senate. Because again, we've still got 3 seats that are up for a decision in the Senate also.
Yeah. But you're not going to have anything on the Senate until the 1st of January.
I think it'll be January 5th.
Yeah.
When we'll have that.
And hopefully there's no chicanery on that one, and it keeps on being delayed on the votes.
It's a sad day in America, folks.
Yeah.
Sad day in America.
That it is, my friend, that it is.
Well, again, we've got recounts coming.
Think that they've won and then come to find out they didn't.
You know those riots? The riots that we've had so far might not, they might be child's play.
You know they don't, or you notice they don't try to pull that crap in red counties.
No, but if it's like I was saying earlier, if there is a civil war, it'll start in the
Big
cities, and then it'll come to the suburbs and little towns like where we're at.
These morons can't even decide which bathroom they want to use, and they think they're going to beat people who's been shooting guns since we were 4.
But you got to understand, Antifa, they haven't been trained by, going to the gun range here. A lot of them got their training overseas.
If they have any at all other than the hood.
But the largest standing military force in the entire world is the retired United States veteran.
True.
So,
true. But
I'm told
what's that shirt saying? What's that quote Doc Holliday so good for?
I'm your huckleberry.
Yes, indeedy. He said, what is it that one guy said? He said, well, I was just playing. And Doc said, I wasn't.
Johnny Ringo.
But I mean, you look at what happened in Seattle with the Chaz or Chop or whatever it's called. The people that they had up there walking around with AR-15s policing, they weren't trained here in the United States. They were trained over in Syria.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. I don't think Trump is going to concede the presidency. I really don't. I think he will fight and fight and fight for the American people, just like he did as president. I think he's going to be fighting tooth and toenail.
Well, if he doesn't, we will. We'll have to.
You're right.
I don't think with 70 million people that voted for Trump, I don't think that they're going to go quietly.
No, I don't either.
Now, I'm not calling for violence, but I'm saying that, you back someone up in the corner and you don't give them a way out, they're going to come out fighting.
They are. As a matter of fact, Trump is vowing to keep fighting and to use every aspect of the law in ballot counting battle. He said, the president said, from the beginning, we have said that all legal ballots must be counted, and all illegal ballots should not be counted. excuse me, said, yet we've met resistance to this basic principle by Democrats at every turn.
They can't win a fair fight.
No.
And we've got the numbers. And we've got the will. So, you know, if it ever comes out of the courts, it won't even be a contest. It'll be, you know, the conservatives winning out. So this is, by the way, did anybody get any kind of indication if somebody won that $25 gift card?
I haven't.
All right. Brian, why don't you tell them a little bit about Superior Heating and Air, bud?
Well, Joe and his fine staff at Superior Heating and Air, they are the Carrier Presidential Award winner. So the service they give is the best here in North Alabama. If you have any heating and air conditioning needs, give them a call, and you can reach him also on website at superiorhvac.net, and have them come out and give you a service call estimate and get your heating and air conditioning up to snuff before we get cold winter in here.
Fox News is now giving the presidency to Biden.
Well, they can't give it to him.
Well,
Don't say that's not theirs to give, but I understand what you mean.
You know, a lot of people have been talking about Fox News and the way they've been changing over the last year or so. I wonder if Fox has made a move to the left in anticipation so they could maintain having their license.
That would make sense. There's a funny old meme. I think it was from The Simpsons, where the aliens invade, and the news station up to that point was like, "We've got to fight! We've got to fight!" And then when the aliens take over, the news station goes, the webcaster is sitting there, and he goes, "Well, I for one welcome our new robot overlords." So that's what Fox is doing. Fox is like, "Well, I for one welcome our new Democrat overlords."
Yeah.
Yeah, we're better than that. We're going to welcome them.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
I guess
I'm
so.
fixing to have to sign off here, but I hate to increase the median age of the conversation, but duty calls. And
But there's wisdom on
That's
our
it.
side, though.
that's it. Absolutely.
all right, bud. We appreciate it. Love you, bud.
It's been a pleasure. Love you guys. God bless you. I keep you in my prayers all the time.
Thank you, Sunshine.
Thanks.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
man. All right, guys.
Now we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm depressed.
Well,
I know this is all part of God's plan, and I understand that, and I'm trying to get this fat noggin wrapped around it, but
well, Terry,
it's going tilt, 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 tilt.
Terry, you said it's part of God's plan, and I understand exactly what you're saying. But remember, He gives us free will. So He will make lemonade out of lemons. It will all work to His glory.
You're right.
But I don't think that it's in God's plan for us to do this. to have to go through this.
I don't know, buddy. You know, Romans 8:28 says all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and call according to His purpose.
Yes.
All is a mighty big word.
Yep.
But
you
have
gotta
you ever read the
understand.
story about Haman, Esther?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that story.
But remember, God already
So
knew.
reminded of that.
God already knew what was going to happen. So everything is going to work to His glory. You know, even though we have free will, He knows what we're going to do. So hopefully this is not the end of this country.
Well,
Hope-
if Kamala, I'm not even going to say Biden wins, because it's not really about Joe Biden anymore.
No.
So if Kamala wins, again, our country is going to be so radically different, emphasis on the radically, that we're not going to recognize it. I mean, we're just not. The Green New Deal
But
is
Terry,
going to implement.
Terry, we've got there's going to be counter resistance that we would not have had 4 years ago. If anybody thinks Trump's going to lay down and take this, you obviously don't know him. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just saying he is not there. He's letting them, I think, letting them show who they are and what they're about. You know,
I was listening to a show yesterday, and the guy made an excellent point. He said, if Biden does win, Trump is going to be in everybody's face. You're not going to get rid of Trump. You're not going to get rid of Junior. Junior's the next one to step up. You're going to have the Trump Broadcasting Network, which is going to go and demolish Fox.
Praise God for that.
You will see Trump more than ever before. Trump derangement syndrome is real. It is real in the mainstream media. They are going to be talking about him until he dies. And he's going to be a de facto president because he's going to get more coverage than Biden or Harris or AOC or Bernie. Every time the camera's on.
The point that Sunshine made about all these former military men, I'll just say keep an eye out. That is a very real thing from what I understand. And trust me, even in their retired state, they don't do to mess with.
You're right.
So he's just not taking us the direction we thought we were going to go in, I guess, or hope to, but he's still in control. I have no doubt he's still in control. I know you guys believe the same thing.
Well, folks, we appreciate you being with us again this week. And again, we had a little technical issue in the middle before the beginning of the show. We apologize for that. But we're gonna get this all figured out. I'll be honest with you, our hamster died in the middle of it was, you know.
The wheel was still turning, but the hamster died.
The hamster died. So we're gonna get a much more robust hamster for next week.
Amen.
Any parting thoughts, Rod?
Keep praying, guys. If you pray at all, pray now like you've never prayed before. That's the only thing now that's going to get things changed. And I have no doubt that God is He's waiting on us. You know, Brian made the statement. He gives us all a free will.
He does.
Otherwise, you know, we'd be robots, and he don't want robots serving him. So let's be diligent with our prayers, if you haven't already been.
Yep. Brian?
Regardless of who sits in the White House, who's in the Senate, who's in the House, God is on the throne and ruling.
Amen. Well said.
Yep. Well, folks, we appreciate you. We love you. We'll be here again next Saturday at 9 a.m. and we'll be giving away another $25 gift certificate. Whoever, if you claim that certificate, text us or you put something on Facebook to let us know you got it.